So I'm outside of Bridgestone Arena right now going to see somebody that I've wanted to meet for a long time. His name is Jason Erwin. He does murals like all over town, and they're probably the coolest thing. Like, this guy has more skill in his pinky than I have in like 5 of my bodies. So we're gonna go surprise Jason because he's painting new murals for Music City Light down in the Lexus Lounge. I can't wait.
What's up?
With Bridgestone. He's walking me down here. We've never been down here like during the day when beer and food is not everywhere. I have a feeling that that's Jason. So how did this all came about? Because your murals are all over the city. Like, I've seen them since I've moved here, and there's just more and more and more of them popping up. And this is really cool because everybody's going to see this at least a couple times a week.
Oh yeah.
And so how did you get wrapped into the Music City beer crew?
Well, it was basically through Phil Vassar. I worked on his new CD cover.
Yeah.
American Soul. And then just from there, that's where I kind of got hooked up with Amy and Quinn and John and started did the album cover for the beer box and things like that, and I was just like, I told him, I'm always available to, ready to rock and roll.
How long have you been doing stuff like this? Has it always been murals, or do you?
No, I did. It's golly, I've been doing this my whole life, but I started out in restaurants.
Yeah.
I did a gallery thing, but I'll just do it my own, and so I started having my own art parties, and then I got in some restaurants, and then I started meeting other owners and things like that, and it evolved into about 20-something restaurants now, and then through them I've met liquor people and rock and rollers and everybody. I mean, it's been amazing. So
was there ever that decision point in your life where you're like, okay, do I take a more traditional route, and you had to choose to pick a passion and turn it into a business? And would that be your advice, or did it just kind of naturally happen?
No, it kind of naturally happened, and I did. There came a day when I was just like, I'm going to be Nashville's best artist. Yeah. And I'm just going to work harder and longer and just constant. And so that was a decision I made, and so I just kind of stuck with it and do it every day.
It seems like everybody who follows a passion makes that decision in their mind at some point, that this is what I'm going to do, and I might have to eat dirt for a couple of years to do it, but ultimately if this is what I want to do, you can't teeter-totter on that decision, or you're never going to be painting Bridgestone Arena.
That's pretty wild. You just have to make a commitment to it and believe in yourself, and you have a lot of fun. So you're happier overall than getting up and going to your old regular job kind of thing.
How much of it is there, like, a lot of it's pre-planned, like where things are going to be, like this, like look at this, so that thing that like rounds the corner, how much of it is going over stencil, and how much of like the shading and things like that is just freehand and just like God-given?
It's pretty much all free-handed.
That's amazing.
Well, I've drawn it a few times, so I've got a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like and how to do it, and so just kind of get up there and then just start. I mean, there's this big blank wall, and so you just got to go for it.
That's wild. Do you like? I remember when I grew up, I had like, you remember those like watercolor, like fill in the blanks where it's like 4 means blue, 1 means yellow.
Yes.
Do you do that for like different colors of shading, different colors of yellow?
I did on this. I had to, like I said, I started out with the grayscale, so I just basically went white, gray, and black. And those were I was just going to keep it as simple as possible. Yeah. And stuff like this, large scale like this, it's good to keep it simple. Yeah. And work from that, so.
Did you go to school for this, or is it like your parents are growing up, they're like, wow, he paints better than most kids?
I did. I went to, I started out in my undergraduate. I was actually a biology major. And so, but I was always drawing all my notes and everything like that, and so I got into art. So I double majored there, and then I went to graduate school, got a master's in painting. So,
would you think did that help you learn technical skills that you do use on the job?
Well, the competition was that's what I learned most, because everybody was really good, and you just had to kind of once again come back to believe in yourself and just paint the way you paint, you know.
Yeah.
And then you'll see what, you know, kind of what happens.
That's true, because that nobody can replicate that. Everybody can learn the same things
Yeah.
and take the same tests, but nobody can replicate like
Right.
what's God-given talent.
And that's getting over that was that's a big thing right there. Because when you get hired, you think, oh, it should look like this. Sometimes, you know, you kind of get that in your head, and like, no, they hired you because they like the way you work.
You do it.
And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. I think it's the same thing for artists or anybody that lives out of their passion in a creative industry. Is you can try to chase what's on the radio, you can try to chase what this person did, but they already have their neighborhood built.
Yeah.
You know, that's already established. You got to go and do something that's just completely unique to you.
oh yeah, and a big thing. I love rock and roll and love sports, so
This is a
that's
perfect
I was
little
just
marriage.
kind of trying to capture that feeling of, you know, the raw power of rock and roll.
It's really cool. Do you ever like start in a section of a canvas that big and are like, this looks awesome, and then you step away and you're like, oh my gosh, this is or what do you do if you mess up? Like, this whole thing is white. What if you just like trip or you just mess up his leg?
Well,
How do you what do
you got to
do?
make it work. Somehow you got to make it work.
Yeah.
It's like over on like Phil's pants. I had some paint drips there, so
Yeah.
I just kind of smeared them and turned them into like a shadow, and it gave them a little bit of motion
character.
to it
Yeah.
and things like that. And so you find it's like an opportunity to get something creative out of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that. Just make it happen.
Yeah. You don't really have an option except for to move forward at that point.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
there's no turning back.
Yeah, well, this is really cool. Thanks for taking time. I know you're on a time crunch, so I'll let you get back to the more important things. But it's a pleasure to know you, and keep doing work. I love seeing you around town.
I appreciate it big time.
Cool, baby. We'll see you soon.